Hello, lore heads, and welcome to the League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
My name is Mark.
Today we're talking about the Pridestalker Rengar, who was released August 21st, 2012. And I worked at Riot very briefly, but I was the class of Rengar. So I have a shirt with Rengar on it that has my old summoner name that does not remotely fit me anymore. Because I'm not the same size I was when I was 24.
I thought you meant that the summoner name didn't fit you. Like, oh, I've changed as a person.
I've developed as a person mentally and physically. I have grown.
It is a different summoner name, though, too, right?
Yeah. This is my old. I mean, I had that one up until like a year ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that shirt.
Yeah.
I can picture his splash is kind of a little old. Well, at least it was. Have they changed it since then? Because I feel like the one they use for the login screen could use a little love. You know, it's not terrible. 2012 is what it is.
It's so funny because like it looks so good in my head because like he was one of the first champions I remember getting released, probably like when I started paying attention, and I was like, damn, this is good. And his theme, okay, so I put his theme song on. I've started listening to theme songs as I'm doing lore. Couldn't for Renekton because he didn't have one.
Oh.
But it was like a minute long.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'll jam out to this. Oh, it's over.
And
like, I'll put it on repeat, but I'm not putting that on repeat. A minute?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
clink.
True.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't the Summoner's Call that's just been like slightly remixed or tweaked or whatever it is that they used to do.
Right? Not like
Yeah.
the
Jace was like
Lulu,
that.
slightly whimsical.
Yeah. That was a big deal, too, though.
I was excited the first time we did that
What's wrong
shit.
with me?
Yeah.
While on the Riot Universe page, Rengar has just so much stuff linked for some reason.
Right?
He has a bio, 2 short stories, a New Dawn, the cinematic, a bunch of pics in the art gallery, a Rengar fan art showcase that doesn't work. That link doesn't work. Don't click it. And the art of League of Legends. There's like a page. Is this the book that we have? That art of League of
Probably.
It's not. There's a lot of champions
think so.
in it, but for some reason it's linked on his page and not others. But I read the little couple sentences I have, and it's basically just saying that his early designs are almost identical to how he looks today. And that's all it really says.
Yeah. I mean, when you got it, you got it.
I guess that's true. It was really interesting to me how many like art resources they linked about Rengo.
They were really into the art.
I don't know why.
I feel like the person who created Rengar was in charge of his page or something like that. Because he was like, I'm
And you know
showing it
what?
all off.
Would that they were all like that, frankly.
I know, honestly,
You know
yeah.
what?
Except with all functional links.
Yeah. Let's.
I mean, calm
They
down,
were
John.
working.
Sorry.
That link went somewhere sometime.
It's a lot to ask that their links work.
I know. That's wild. That's unreasonable.
I'm sure it's
sorry,
connected
Riot.
to like old boards or something. I bet you that's why it doesn't work anymore or something like that.
Yeah, I assume so. Then just take it off.
But Steve Mescon was very sure that the boards were going to last forever because they were better than Reddit. Not to be confused with Reddit. Sure, there was an upvote, downvote mechanism that would make posts rise to the top, but it was not Reddit, folks.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, you're making a
Let's
joke,
make
but
that
it was
clear.
a forum, and that's just kind of what forums have always looked like.
Not always.
I don't
Forums a
know.
lot of times.
They've evolved a lot.
Like those old league forums, it was like real classic where it's just some one big ass thread and there's 97 conversations that are kind of rolling around inside it.
Right? It was
Like one of those
based on
cartoon
like
dust clouds.
whatever got the latest response would always be at the top of the forum. It wouldn't be based on popularity or shit like that. It would be like, what has the most recent shit to look at? All right, I guess people want to look at this. Nobody ever wanted to look at that. It was never useful information.
Yeah. Well, you know, I tried to find the art showcase to see if like that was hosted somewhere else or at least like a Wayback Machine. I didn't find anything.
Oh, bummer.
So I think it's just in the wind.
If you were on that art showcase, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does our friend Rengar sound like?
He's a very growly boy.
He is.
He's super growly. He's tonight we hunt.
That was great.
That was good.
We don't have the
the depth.
The depth.
For that.
This is
Ours is going to be a chipmunk version of that.
Also, he took the quote that I was going to say.
He did. Oh, well, you can do it too, though. It'll be like a comparison. We'll see who did it
gonna be
more
great.
best.
Tonight we hunt. How was that?
It's a tough call. It's neck to neck.
Right.
Shut up.
It's good. I like it.
Tonight we hunt.
That's Kha'Zix.
That's what Nara should say.
Tonight we hunt.
Also Kha'Zix, weirdly enough.
That was Star Guardian Kha'Zix.
He ate a yordle.
You have a warrior's heart. I think I'll take it.
I feel like anytime there's like a deep voice champion, the two of us just sound exactly the same for every single one of them. You know what I mean?
It's always fake Batman.
Where are they?
There's a yeah. You nailed it right there. I was trying to find a way to describe it.
Yeah, so
His bio?
bio by Anthony Birch.
Let's go. I like how your first
Of all
note is
people.
just Kilash. Were you just like, so you remember the name of the tribe?
Yeah, because I know
Okay.
we had literally talked, like, in the Rengar episode, or the Renekton episode, rather, we were like, I forget what Rengar's tribe was called, so I wrote it down for us. It's the Kilash. Not to be confused with key lime pie or
All right.
ganache. It's the Kilash.
It's a glorious
I may have been
union of the
hungry when
two.
reading.
You just ate.
Did you think that his chief's name was like rice pilaf or something like that?
I hope so.
All right. Rengar was a tiny little Vistayan
Tiny boy.
from Shurima. Yep.
Yeah.
They still say he's from Ixtal at no point in his bio. Is he in or has he been to Ixtal? Maybe that's where he is now. Anyway, he's from Shurima. As a runt of the litter, his father, Pojaf?
Sounds good to me. I don't think.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think he's gonna come around, yelling at your pronunciation anytime soon. Spoiler alert.
Maybe.
Wow. Anyway, Pojaf. Pojaf. Didn't think.
There's an N in there that I feel like is not being said.
Is there an N?
Right?
No.
Punjaf?
I thought it was Pojaf. I might have fucked it up.
Okay, well now we got to go to the boards. Hold on.
All right.
I'm gonna look for this shit.
Anyway,
Punjaf.
Ponjaf.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I mistyped it. I say his name again later. I wonder if I got the N there. I did. All right. It was just my first one. I forgot the N. Ponjaf. Anyway, Ponjaf didn't think that Rengar survived, so he was abandoned. Now I know what you're thinking. Where is Rengar's mother? Who knows? She doesn't exist.
It's Nidalee.
It's unimportant. Where do babies come from? Doesn't matter. They just magically appear for men to abandon.
Babies for men. Sounds like a hair product.
It wouldn't be called babies. They'd be called like.
Or I guess skincare product, maybe. That would be babies for men.
I was trying
I
to.
was thinking perfume or something like that.
I feel like Punjaf actually probably like doesn't know how the dishes get done. He's like, well, the dishes are just always washed. It's amazing. The house is clean. You don't have to clean it. It's just clean. Anyway, Rengar decided to leave one day, and he lived on bugs for a while until he ran into a hunter. What he did?
It's very Lion King.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking about. Yes, that was intentional, right?
Had to
like
have been.
Absolutely. They were like, he's Simba. He's living on grub. Anyway, he runs into a hunter named Marcon. Marcon spared Rengar because he was so teeny and pathetic. And Rengar followed Marcon for a while, picking on some of the meat he left behind until Marcon caught him and threw him into a ravine. But he did give him a knife, at least.
Much like the Lion King.
Timon and Pumbaa
Minus the knife.
graciously took care of. All right. Rengar grew up learning to hunt and survive in Shurima, taking trophies from his big bad kills. When he felt like he was ready, he went back to his tribe to show his dad his cool new skulls he collected. His dad was super unimpressed. What?
I don't know. For some reason, the way you said it just reminded me of like a little kid telling their parents proudly about this cool
Daddy.
YouTube video or like this cool new rock they found.
And now I'm imagining it's like he's rambling to his dad, like he's talking about Pokemon, like and then this one, this one's called Marlicop. It's really weak to water and ice.
God, but there was that one creature weak to water from the Cassante episode. It basically is just Pokemon.
Anyway, Punjab was unimpressed. He told him he wouldn't be impressed until he could take down the void creature, Kha'Zix.
Charizard. Shiny Charizard.
Yeah.
Rengar tried, but lost his eye and ran home.
Also, Scyther, by the way.
That's a... Oh, God, you're so right.
Yeah, that's like your favorite Pokemon, too.
I know, I fucking love Scyther. I again love the way that you said that because it made it sound like a nursery rhyme. Could you repeat what you said when he got his eye taken?
Rengar tried, but lost his eye.
And then went babbling home.
Aww.
Making this to populate. Shut up. Anyway, Ponjoff made fun of him pretty bad until Rengar realized his dad was like all old now and his skulls. His skulls are super dusty and weak. So Rengar killed him. I'm just summarizing the bio.
No, you got it spot on. You're
Something
nailing
about
it. Don't get me
literally
wrong.
everything you're saying is just really hitting right now.
Is it the mead?
Maybe, I don't know. All his skulls are dusty and weak.
Skulls are dusty and weak. So
He's all
Rengar
old,
gutted
he
him.
realizes.
Anyway, the tribe thought that was pretty cool and told him he could rule the tribe now, like the Santa Claus.
With claws.
Oh my God. Someone draw that, please. I need the Santa Claus.
Oh my God.
We're almost done. Anyway, Rengar said no thanks, and he left. And now he's trying to kill Kha'Zix, not for his dad, but for funsies.
Good.
Fucking
Good for
nailed the
him.
bio on the nose.
Thank you. That was Rengar.
All right. Yeah, how's, his bio.
Yeah. I was gonna say I don't think I learned anything new here, but I guess I did. You guys had told me he was a runt last week, which I didn't know that. But it's about what I expected for what I had known of Rengar, except for Shurima. I don't know if they changed that. Is in his old lore, is he not from Shurima? Has he always been from Shurima?
I think he was from 2012. Had they redone the lore at that point?
Probably. I do
right,
have some
2012?
old bio lore of
Yeah.
his, I think.
I do too, but it doesn't mention like
Where he's
Institute of
from
War
or anything?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
he's not that old.
They
Interesting.
were probably he's gonna be from the jungle, but we don't know what that's gonna be yet.
Yeah. Post Kamungo retcon, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm fine with him being from Shurima, especially with it worked into Renekton's story, like having that there's Vestayan there. Especially because I don't think there's really Vestayan in Shurima established. So that's kind of interesting.
There's been
that
a few random ass ones. There was that one in I forget which story. It was someone's short story. There was some Vestaya. I think it was Nico's actually.
Nidalee.
She ran into a Vestaya on the port of...
Nico's bio also had one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. They're kind of sprinkled down there.
Yeah.
Just fine. But
Yeah, but it's nice. It's always nice to have kind of a low stakes champion. He's not involved in a lot of the big things going on. He and Kha'Zix are in their own little war.
Very singular focus.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck this guy
Exactly.
in particular.
I mean, that I like for sure. It's a lot more tangible of a thing to get into, and it's a little more frankly, it's a little more interesting because it can be resolved by these two for the most part. You don't need a bunch of motherfuckers.
And it's great because if you're in game and you've got a Kha'Zix and you've got a Rengar, you can literally resolve it right there. Like, it's great.
That's genuinely true, though.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I know that's what they tried to do with the old Institute of War stuff, but it's like you can still play out those little what-if fantasies, right? You can role play with Kha'Zix on the Rift or whatever, you know. But
and you get special rewards for it, which is great.
yeah, that's always pretty cool. It was really surprising to me when I looked up the Who-By and saw it was Anthony Birch, because I feel it's like it doesn't really have any of the flair that we kind of see with the other things he's written.
Feel like a Birch.
Yeah.
I feel like
I mean, you
Prey
can't really...
was a bit more. I mean, I don't know if it had Anthony's kind of signature style, but I liked Prey more. I thought he did more with it.
Yeah, I mean, you have more freedom.
I don't feel like Anthony enjoys like writing bios.
I wouldn't,
the feel
honestly.
I mean, it seems hard. I mean, you looked at his old lore, but the old ones I looked at, it's all pretty much the same. It just was kind of like missing all these details. So I'm sure they said, "Hey, punch up Rengar. You know, give him a few like some people, some connections or whatever. But don't go outside. Don't color outside these lines." And it's like, all right, well, what the fuck do you do? So it's just like whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
I want to know what the fuck Marcon's up to nowadays. Where the hell's he at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He seems cool as hell.
Is he a Runeterra card? Because the fact that he's named is unusual, I feel like.
I don't think so. I don't think. Well, Rengo's not in Runeterra.
That's
Maybe
true.
that would be someone you would pull on.
That'd be pretty cool. Like, hey, right, if you're listening, if you add Rengo to Runeterra, put Marcon in. We want to know what Marcon's up to and make him strong as fuck. He sounds awesome.
Yeah, you could get all sorts of Kilosh cards in there. You could do some fun stuff. Maybe, I don't know. There's a lot you could do with them. It's weird because like these are all potential. Him and Ponjoff, they're a lot of potential, but it is kind of a shame that so much of it is just kind of like told in this very blunt, dry in the bio way, where it's like him returning could be its own story when he comes back and thinks he's going to get back in, and then he gets turned away, or like when he confronts his dad. That's like a whole. And kills his dad. That's a whole fucking thing for Rengo, essentially. Like, it's a really big step in his development.
Yeah.
And so for it to just be like a paragraph in a bio, it's kind of rough.
Also,
you know what I mean?
They specifically say that Rengar is the runt of the litter. And sure, he was able to kill his dad because his dad, they said wasn't fucking doing anything. He was just kind of chilling on his throne. But like, runt of the litter implies a litter of much larger Kilosh. Were they cool with Rengar just fucking... I mean, I feel like maybe they'd be cool with Rengar murdering their dad because, like, this seems like the strongest rise to the top thing. But could none of them beat the runt of the litter? Surely there were more hunters in the tribe.
I mean, I think he is supposed to be a super special... he's a league champion. He can't just be normal. He's a self-taught hunter, and he's better, even though he's smaller. But yeah,
he always tries.
He tries his best.
With the power of heart.
There is a line that's in there like that, where it's like, it's on his eyes. Like, even that's a sign that no matter what, he never gave up or something like that.
I may have lost you, Dad, but I have something you don't. Friendship.
Come here, Marcon. Marcon, he's gone.
Oh, shit.
He pushed me down a ravine, but he gave me this knife.
It was great, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's missing for me is where's the rest of his family? Because he has a litter, and I presume that someone birthed that litter. So that's what's really missing for me is where is his mother? How does she feel about this? Did she just die in childbirth? Sure, that's a cliche, but throw it in there at least so I know. Or is she also just like, yeah, fuck that run, like throw him into the ravine? But yeah, and then his siblings for sure.
Yeah, there's a line at the very start of Adaptation, which was the Kha'Zix story, where it I think, what does it say? I am nothing to the Kilosh who birthed me, which is just a sentence, right? Like, that doesn't address all of that, but it's the tiniest little insight into everyone was on board with him being like, whatever, send him off into the woods or whatever.
I assume, because no one went after him or anything, but...
I wonder if the Pridestalker was a sibling.
Yeah, I was wondering that, actually.
That'd be cool.
That would be really cool. Again, that's why, like, if you wrote a little story that showed all that, you could get into that and you could answer some of those questions. Maybe he's got a brother who he lets be the chieftain instead, or like, whatever. There's a lot you could do with it. But
Yeah. That's the bio.
That's the bio.
Yeah, it was a little dry for me. It's very just in the way bios can sometimes be.
Yeah.
It's just like, and then this happened, and then this, and then this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But then we've got Prey, also by Anthony Birch.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is his color story. He's trekking a razor hide, which they don't... I couldn't find it anywhere outside of this story.
Yeah.
Some big monster.
They sound cool.
They sound kind of cool. They've got like... Is it like scales? All their scales are also sort of razor sharp. They sound like big kind of porcupine-y type things, or hedgehogs almost. But maybe
like
more
armored
dangerous.
porcupines.
Aw, so cute.
Porcupine.
which are surprisingly like... I feel like we don't get many... Like, it's not a Vastaya. It's like just an animal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it has a surprising amount of thoughts.
Yeah.
Like human lucid thoughts that I wouldn't have expected.
I don't know if that worked for me.
Me neither. It did not work for me at all.
Yeah. Okay, so let me get into it right quick. So Rengo, he finds the remains of a bunch of dead people killed by this razor hide thing, and he catches up to it, tearing into, like, I don't know, there's like a couple of people, an old guy and his kid who are camping, and it sounds like it's attacking their camp. And he starts kind of fighting it. You know, he kind of attacks it and leads it away and kind of leads it into an ambush. And it's like a color story. He's using his abilities. He trips it up with his bolo, and it kind of shifts from this thing being what's in kind of hunting him to it's now being hunted by Rengo. And he eventually kills it and takes a trophy from it. And kind of interspersed throughout the story are these bits where we are getting like the internal, I guess, monologue or like stream of consciousness from this thing. And as it's going from being like, ooh, this, you know, kill, squish this cat creature thing to at the end where it's just trying to run away. That's a summary of it.
Yeah, I like the idea a lot. I think we could have been from the Razorhide's point of view without getting its thoughts. And seeing this from the Razorhide's point of view could have been really, really fun, where he's hunting people and then he catches wind of this creature instead. He's hunting the creature and then he realizes that he's being hunted instead. That's great. That's a lot of fun. And shows us a lot about how good Rengar is at what he does. But the internal monologue was so not it for me. It just didn't really make any sense at all. It was super distracting.
I got the feeling that the intent was that maybe the intent was that, like, it's not like a literal, like, these are kind of like, if you were to give words to a creature's instincts, maybe this is what they would be.
Sure.
It's ambitious to try and do that. And maybe this wasn't exactly it, but
yeah, it's hard because, like y'all are saying, I think that we like the idea a lot. I'm right there in the same camp with y'all, and it might even be the way it's written. Because, for example, Rengar trips this thing up with a bolo, and the thing, its internal monologue reads, tripping, falling, what? Some sort of weapon, 3 balls tied together with leather, tangled around legs. And it's like, some monster thing has no fucking idea what a ball is or being tangled is. It would be a lot more just raw instinct if you wanted to get that across. And I think maybe that could have worked if you just finagle the writing of it a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, it was definitely like, the idea was to make it clear that the in-game abilities were being used by giving like way more intelligence to this random ass creature than we would expect. But I mean, all that being said, like I kind of liked it. I didn't think the execution was the best, but I enjoyed the story.
Yeah, I don't have like, I think it's hard because that's just such a big component of it. So when it's like, this isn't working for me, it's like it's a big part that's not working for me, which is kind of a shame because it's a nice display of mastery from Rengo. You know, he's pretty smart about how he handles it. There is one moment I like with him where he's kind of hidden in the grass, and the razor hide is starting to kind of realize that things are a little bit more dangerous, and it reads like, the momentary silence before the attack, before the quarry realized just how helpless it was, before the howls of pain and the blood and the adrenaline and the joy. Rengar threw his head back and roared. And I like that of him, like almost like like a cat, where he's just like building up and then he can't help himself. He just gets into it. Like that I kind of like, that little moment, I'll say.
It's ironic, too, because I read this, and then right afterwards I started reading that octopus book that we're doing for book club, which does exactly the same fucking thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, there are some chapters that are from the point of view of an octopus, but octopuses are wildly intelligent.
But it does the same thing where, like, it is an octopus having human thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Which, I don't know, it worked better.
Well, I mean, it works because it's not... It's just having thought. Like, they're complete sentences. It's not like they're trying to make it sound, like, dumbed down because, like, oh, it's an animal. It can't complete a sentence, you know? Which I found that really distracting. If you're going to give it human thoughts, just let it have human thoughts. Don't just take out some words and be like, there, now it's animal thoughts. And it also, well, we're reading Remarkably Bright Creatures, it's called, and the octopus was raised in captivity in an aquarium. So it having knowledge of humans and their language and their objects and how they work makes sense. Whereas for this creature, it really doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read this octopus book that we're all so wild about. But I can kind of infer, I suppose. And I think also it's like, this is a fantasy creature that we don't even really know what it is or what's going on with it. So it's a lot of leaps for us to take to get to this point of, like, it believing that what seems like just a big monster animal would be thinking. At one point it's like, oh, which way is the village? And I don't know what the fuck that was about, as if it's its own village that it's trying to get back to, like it's a fully safe, like it has civilization. I don't know.
Where's my TV?
The other thing that stuck out is that, like I said, the monster was attacking some old man, and that little sequence ends with like, oh, there's the scream of like a young boy or a young child. And he doesn't ever show up again in the story except for the fact that he yelled. And it seems weird to me that he kind of fell out of it. Like, you could maybe play around with, you know, there's this weird kind of like poetry, it rhymes, right? Marcon saves this little Vestian who saves this little human, you know. You do something with that.
That could be fun. And then the humans kind of following him.
Yeah, like double the story in length, and the first half is the action sequence, and then the second half is like just the human kind of tagging along and Rengar reacting to him, and I don't know, we can get inside Rengar's head, see what he thinks about Marcon, what he knows about Marcon. Like, is Marcon still out there, I don't know, trolling around? Who knows? You know?
No, Rengar's 2,000 years old, unfortunately, so Marcon is deceased.
All right. Oh, well.
They had a quote here that I liked. This is from the point of view of the monster. Bound into field after it, cat beast, small, scared, me, big, fast, will stomp all tall grass down if it takes. Pain! And that just reminded me of me trying to find and catch my cats to try and take them to the vet.
Yeah. Except those are your thoughts.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Me, big,
like
strong, cat, slow, weak. I'm gonna get you. Pain!
On smash! I love it. You're walking around with a big club.
Me find kitty.
Kitty good. Oh man. All right, you want to do one of these other ones?
Sure.
We don't have to.
No, it's fine.
You probably didn't.
I don't have
read
notes
any
for
of the other ones
stories.
they weren't linked. A lot of them.
No. I mean, I've read the adaptation. Is that it?
Yeah.
I've read this one for Kha'Zix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Ks were 3.5 years ago.
Right. It was kind of wild being like, oh man, Kha'Zix feels like yesterday.
I know.
How different we were.
So young, so naive.
No kids yet.
All right. All right.
Damn.
Man, it's a shame this isn't linked, because this is really from Rengar. This is a Rengar story.
This is a
too,
Rengar
really.
story
Well,
that Kha'Zix just happens to be in.
They didn't confirm it.
No, this
Does it
one's
say
confirmed.
Rengar?
It's just not the other one that's not
Okay.
confirmed.
Does it say Rengar? Show me where it says Rengar in this fucking. Anyway, it's like I said, we talked about it in Kha'Zix, but the quick and high level is that This is before Rengo has actually run into Kha'Zix. He is out hunting for him to get back into his tribe. He kind of can sense Kha'Zix around, because Kha'Zix being a void creature, it's kind of interesting how Rengar just like can pick up this like weird he doesn't fit into the natural world, and Rengar is kind of sensing it the whole time. Sees Kha'Zix fight some raptors, goes to kill him, and all of a sudden realizes Kha'Zix has been aware of him the whole time. They fight, Kha'Zix takes out the eye, and then they just fight until like dark, and Kha'Zix just flitters off, and even Rengar is like, did he just like run away? Did he retreat? Did he just get everything he wanted from me and he'll be back later to finish the job? I don't know, but he ate my fucking eye, so I'm gonna kill that bitch.
I like the description of Kha'Zix in this one is way better than in the Rengar bio. He's described, they say, I must track a shadow, bladed shard of moonless night, abomination. Which is way fucking cooler than his dad described it.
Get the big purple bug.
He's like really, he's really downselling it. He's like, it's something. Don't worry, it's just kind of purpley, easy peasy.
It'll be easy to find. It's purple.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the writing in this one a lot, actually.
Yeah.
There's another bit where it's describing Kha'Zix, and Rengar's like, its parts do not make sense. Limbs and flesh and shell and claws that cannot belong to the same single creature, all inside a glistening outer skeleton, blackish purple like rotten fruit. The air and light writhe around it. They do not want to touch it either. This is kind of nice, vivid depictions of Kha'Zix.
Yeah. It's very cool.
And this kind of threw out, honestly. I remember talking about it in the Kha'Zix episode, like the way it describes him eating Rengar's eye and how sadistic it's portrayed. And I really liked it, frankly.
Yeah.
Also, a detail I liked is that there's a line that said, the trophies that hang and rattle from my coat are gone, left behind at my camp. There's only the blade, a layer of grease to slicken my fur, and the slow measured beat of a hunter's heart in my chest. Which I like that they address how fucking loud all those trophies would be on him at all times. And like, wait, I like that they just kind of touch on the fact that, like, no, he doesn't hunt with this shit. He leaves that shit at home. This is just for him.
He strips naked. He greases up.
Rolls in the mud.
Yeah, it's very. I remember this little detail too, because it's so much Arnie and Predator, right? Like, it's, which these two are totally playing into. So it's a fun detail.
Like how you called him Arnie.
Arnie, you know, my main man Arnie.
It took me a second. I was like, is that his name in the movie? Because I don't remember.
They really didn't give a shit. They knew what was good about it. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I really liked it. To me, it's just like a more punchy kind of color story than the other one. Kind of works better.
Yeah. And we get a little bit of literal Shuriman translation here, where we find that Kha'Zix literally translates to "you face yourself" in Shuriman tongue.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if anyone out there is doing any sort of like Shuriman translation guide, but
you have a
starting
point.
That's
now.
one word right there.
That seems like a really hard one, because you would think that parts of it would be the same. You face yourself, like there would be some sort of repeated sound or letter. Right.
No.
Between the two parts. Okay, I don't fucking know.
You don't know how language works, dumb.
Apparent fucking Lee.
No, that would make sense. You're right.
Well, who knows? You know what? It's a fantasy language. They can do what they want.
That's true.
But it's fine.
But yeah, sure glad this isn't on Rengar's page, given that it's told through Rengar's eye.
So he's also mentioned in that that journal that we've mentioned so many times. I didn't write down the name of it.
The Vestayan Field Guide.
Vestayan Field Guide, yep.
Is he even really mentioned?
I don't even think he is.
Oh, it's linked there.
I know. I think
if you're a Vestayan, you just get this.
Yeah, all the Vestayan get this one.
Except I'm sure there's ones that don't, because they just forgot their Vestayan.
Oh, absolutely.
The ones that are in there don't get linked.
I doubt Set's got it linked on his page.
Yeah, because he comes off superhuman looking as the thing, right? He's not, whatever. It's fine. Do you want to talk about the one that's definitely not Rengo? the Hunter Hunted or whatever? By Leslie Sullivan Heinz.
You betcha. So just heads up, folks. Remember, this is not This is not Rengar.
This is very likely to not be Rengar.
Yes, the author herself said that it was Rengar. And yes, the stalker talks about seeking powerful prey and trophies, much like Rengar does. And yes, it says, even though it has left this unmistakable trail of destruction, I have been able to lay my eye upon it, singular. But, according to a writer on Twitter, writers' opinions on social media can't be trusted. Oh, wait. So, basically, the whole reason that they wanted to retcon this is that it's weird that Gnar went straight from being in the Frozen Ice and the Freljord to being in Ixtal, which, I mean, it seems like is a real quick fix if they just want to, like, fucking edit this story slightly to make it work, as opposed to trying to pretend that it wasn't Rengar this whole fucking time. But more power to him.
Nah,
Also,
you gotta pick your battles.
Rengar's in Shurima.
Well, they pick and choose sometimes the things.
Because in no other story is he in Ixtal, right? There's just this one, which they retconned. So why is he's listed as being from Ixtal on his page, right?
Okay, so this is something I wonder. I think Ishtal certainly did not exist when his bio got written. That's part of it.
Yeah.
The other thing I wonder is if, like, what is the name for the southern continent? Is it just called Shurima at large? Like if you said, he's in
Wanted.
They're in Shurima. And, like, Ishtal is technically in the old Shuriman Empire's borders because they were a vassal state. So
Right, kind of like what's the northern half called?
Well, Valorant.
Valorant is the top half, and fucking Valorant bullshit. Why did you do that, Riot? You could have named it anything.
Like that name. We got to use it. So could have named it anything, but we used Valorant.
All right, so
with a T.
Ishtal is an independent nation that's joined the Shuriman Empire.
Oh yeah, if you ask Ishtal, of course. But if you ask Shurima...
Well, there is no Shuriman Empire anymore, right? So it's like...
Yeah. I don't know.
Whatever. I mean, it's whatever. But regardless, let's get back to complaining about the fact that this is most certainly Rengar. And on top of that, like, I don't know, we talked about it in Gnar, but Rengar's hunting, Gnar shows up and kind of tags along, almost like how Rengar sort of did with Marcon. So why wouldn't you keep this fucking
you're right.
canon? Because it's, again, like poetry, it fucking rhymes. It made me even more frustrated. I was a little annoyed way back when in Gnar, but after having actually read the bio, I was like, oh, yeah, that's a great pairing.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Well,
I will say, of all these two, this is the most interesting of the Rengar stories. It's just criminally short. And that's like the biggest issue, is that like it's doing something different than the other two stories, which is just Rengar's hunting. Like here he's hunting, but they're kind of having fun with it, you know? It's a little more of a comedy bit than anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now he's also mentioned in An Intimate Evening at Oyster Bill's, which is the Neela story, where Neela comes fighting Graves. He says, I didn't do anything. You're probably looking for Senna or Rango.
Oops.
He's also mentioned in The Void Reaver, which is the Kha'Zix bio, where we get, for the record, a very different account of how their encounter started. One day, while savoring a fresh kill, the predator became the prey. From cover, a creature pounced in a blur of fangs and steel, tackling him to the ground. It roared in his face, slashing and clawing, and Kha'Zix felt his blood spill for the first time. Screeching in fury, he sliced at the brute's eye, driving it back. Which is, if we compare it to how Rengo told it, where he was about to pounce, and then Kha'Zix was like, nope, knew you were there, and just fucking took his eye out like it was nothing, and then ate it in front of him. Very different version of that fucking story.
Yeah, I think I like Rengar's. It's more interesting.
It is. It's like they're in small claims court, just like trying to argue to Judge Judy. Like,
it was self-defense,
Rengar's sitting there
Your
with his
Honor.
fucking eye that's bleeding. Oh, man.
And, of course, most importantly,
You can feel the collective energy of the podcast just deflate.
Rise of the Sentinels.
I so forgot he was in this.
I did too.
I was talking to John about that. I'm like, well, Rengar's stuff should be pretty quick. I don't think it'll be a long episode. And John's like, well, you're forgetting the big thing that he's in. And I was like, is he a Star Guardian? I straight up fucking forgot that he was in. I'm searching my brain. I cannot
How could you
find
forget
a memory.
he was in all those cinematics? I mean...
Now, he comes in when Lucian and Rookie go to Ishtal.
Oh, Rookie. I forgot about that.
How could you forget?
My brain was protecting me.
Well, no more. Let the veils be torn down. Now, Rengar expresses interest in the challenge of hunting wraiths. Unfortunately, he's ill-equipped to fight wraiths and is soon overwhelmed, forcing the two Sentinels to rescue him. Defeated by the wraiths, Rengar loses his confidence and refuses to fight at all. You know, classic Rengar stuff.
I don't want to do this anymore.
He sits on the ground and pouts.
Wraiths hurt me. I don't want to do it anymore.
Not fair, not fair.
Marcon, help me. I don't want
Oh,
to
baby.
do it.
He can't turn from his stomach to his back, and he's like, "Ah." Rookie, go flip Rengar over.
Now, Rookie spins a fanciful tale, and despite Lucian's amusement and disbelief, this tale manages to re-inspire Rengar. So with their new ally roused, the trio pushes on after the mist. Lucian vents to Rengar and Rookie about his desire to protect Senna, and that's when Thresh shows up and tricks them into retrieving an artifact for him. And then, furious that they've been tricked, Lucian swears Rengar and Rookie to secrecy. And then Rookie convinces Lucian to let Rengar join them due to his new desire to hunt Viego and prove that he's still an apex predator. And then, so Senna swears him in. Gwen outfits Rengar with a sweet new uniform and some relic knives.
Learning all this about Rengar now, I'm just imagining Lucian sitting down next to Rengar talking about, like, his wife.
You cannot tell. She's gonna kill me if you tell her this shit.
Everything that Rengar's been through, he's gonna be like, what the fuck is this?
My mother let me die out in the woods. It's like, oh. Huh.
See, he and Nidalee would get along great. They have so much in common already.
That would be so much more interesting.
I like how you said tricked. Like, as if, like, Lucian, like, just got, like, hoodwinked and just, like, fooled, bamboozled.
By Thresh? Oh, weird.
Like, instead of, like, making, like, a deal that isn't like, ugh, God. I hate Rise of the Sentinels. I hate
Also,
that we're talking about it.
In case you forgot, Rengar, throughout the story, like his dialogue, alternatively acts like an actual cat, and like Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Just hyper literal about fucking everything.
It makes no sense for what we know about Rengar now.
Yeah, he, you know, when he's in that, like, I wasn't the biggest on the Anthony Birch story, but he's pretty kind of, like, at the low start, he's doing, like, a little crime scene investigation. He's got really good instincts. He's very wise. He's not, like, book smart, but he's high wisdom.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to interact with people before. Like, I don't know. We've seen plenty of other Vestayan. They're not just animals. Like, it makes any sense.
Yeah, exactly.
that they would make him act like this. But it's just the problem of Rise of the Sentinels made everyone comic relief, and Rengar was no exception. And this was how they did it.
Yeah, and it's a shame because as we're even talking about it now, you could have gotten some funny moments from him, but being still the very serious, you know, predator thing where it's like he doesn't, like you said, he doesn't relate to these weird sort of human relationship concerns. He's not that kind of guy.
I mean, you made the joke that would have been really great, as if Lucian complaining about something like this, and Rengar's like, I don't know, man. My family abandoned me and left me to die. I've been on my own for 40 years.
So, like, did you cut your dad's guts out?
Did you also cut your dad? Oh no, you miss your dad? I
Oh.
can't relate. I don't know what that means.
Sounds like quite the quandary for old Rengar. Yeah,
Let's move on
to some old lore.
Yeah.
So his bio hasn't changed a ton, but back in the old lore, he was just a hunter boy. He never knew his real parents.
Oh,
He did have a human hunter mentor who raised him, and he hunted real good.
great.
Too good.
Oh no.
Nothing challenged him. Hunt no fun. Then he made Kha'Zix. Lost eye. Now he loves hunt again.
Did you turn into the razor?
I was gonna say,
Razor hide? Is that what they're
Pain.
called? Pain.
yeah, it's funny
Ouchie.
how much he hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Now we have a few cinematics too. Like is linked on the page. We've got A New Dawn, which is it was basically the first of the new cinematics that told like a cohesive story instead of being like strictly fight porn. Which I mean it still was.
Yeah.
But it told a story too. Rengar is an impressive fighter in this. He just comes straight out the gate by just fucking murdering Draven, like, no problem.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
jumps on him, kills him immediately.
I mean, he's Draven at 80 carry, man.
Yeah, it was exactly what would happen.
Yeah.
And then he fights Katarina, and is kind of kicking her ass, too.
Almost claws her vagine.
Almost claws her vagine. And you gotta... Ooh! And then blowing the hair up, like they do in the cinematics. And then at the end, too, he fucking stabs Darius. It is a little fucking bunk that Darius punches him once and knocks him out for some reason.
That was really fun. I hadn't watched this in a long time, so I was rewatching it, and just like the audacity to punch Rengar in the face is so fucking funny to me, especially after being stabbed in the abdomen.
Right?
Yeah.
I had that same thought, but after you laid it all out, it's like he's fucking tired. He's been doing a lot of shit.
I guess
He didn't
that's
actually get
true.
knocked out. He got punched, and he's like, I'm going to pretend I got knocked out because I could use a fucking nap
fucking
right
tired.
now. Like,
He
my
found-
teammates got this.
He found a little
They got
sliver
this.
of sun, and he was like, it's nice and warm here.
Just walks around in a little circle 15 times and then falls asleep.
Aw, making biscuits.
I do kind of like the playing in him. Like, he is a cat. You can have some fun with that a little bit,
But not
frankly.
too much Rise of the
No.
Sentinels.
Rein it in just a
Also,
little bit.
we see his size in this too, and he is decidedly larger than everyone else in this cinematic other
Except
than Nautilus.
Yeah.
So it is funny thinking of him as the runt. Like, it really makes me rethink the size of how big the Pridestalker who fought Rengar
I mean,
was.
I was imagining the Pridestalker as being pretty large. It makes me really rethink the size of Renekton. Because Renekton, when he ulted, grew even larger than the Pridestalker.
It's true.
Yeah.
The Kilosh are kind of cool. He's really... Him in motion is really cool in this this trailer. That little bit of them in the trees, him and Cat, I think might be my favorite bit of the whole thing.
It's very kinetic.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yes, it is. He's you know what else is good about him is that because he's not human, he really avoids some of the issues that like Darius in this trailer, kind of looks a little like 2012, 13 CG. Like, he's not bad, but he does. It's like you can tell it's not. It's not human, right? Because there's so many details. But with this kind of fantasy species, there's a lot more wiggle room, I guess I would say, and he holds up way better.
It's wild to think that this looks dated. I mean, it still looks great, but I remember it being released and thinking, like, this is flawless.
This is as good as CGI
This
is
is
ever
as
gonna
good as
look.
it's gonna get. And then we just have that thought every, 5 years.
Yeah.
Now he's also in Ignite. Kind of.
John.
So while
No,
Rengar is not
John.
technically in this video, in the scene at the end where it's they've got the girl kind of playing League and she's in her room at her desk and everything, her cat is dressed like Rengar and is tearing into a Teemo plushie, and it's very cute.
I'm gonna have to rewatch this.
What would you dress your cats up like? Would you dress them up like Rengars too?
Ooh,
Oh, I mean, I don't know. We named them both after champions.
that's true.
Skarl is named after Skarl.
And Nico's named after Nico.
But Skarl's not a champion, is what I meant. He's not named
Close
after
enough.
champions.
Half a champion.
Well, we dressed Nico up as Kled and put him on Scar.
Oh, shit. Now, in terms of canon stuff, I just have a few quotes here. So he's got a quote that says, "Not so fast," which he
Not
shares
so
with a surprising amount of champions. Poppy, Braum, Caitlyn, and Star Guardian Jinx all also have that quote.
It's a good one.
It's, when you got gold, you might as well reuse it.
Sure.
And let's see what they're made of. Also shared with Vel'Koz.
Oh, they mean it in very different ways.
They do mean it in very different ways.
Yeah.
Knowledge through disintegration.
Time for the AUs.
Oh, we gonna
I think
AU
so.
it up.
We gonna AU it up. I gotta get them open.
Yeah. We're gonna start with some legacy. Treasures from days long past, glimmering just within reach. This one's Night Hunter Rengar, which has no lore. This entire AU is where they stuff old shit that they can't find a home for.
Oh, so that's why it's legacy. Okay, just legacy. Okay. You tricked me.
Then we got headhunters. For some species, the hunt is more than mere sport. It possesses their minds and bodies, molding them into a race of perfect killing machines. This is Headhunter Rengar. Some hunters choose to scale impossible heights, cutting down creatures many times their own size for the sheer rush of the kill. Rengar is clad in the bones of these creatures, a worrying sign to his more human quarry.
This is Predator Rengar, right?
This is Predator Rengar. As if Rengar itself wasn't already Predator Rengar. But fun fact on this one, Baron Nashor and Dragon Skulls can be seen in the background. And his shoulder plate might also be a Vilemaw skull.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Also, this is specifically the skin I had in my head when it talked about the Pridestalker and how he had the bone mask. This is what I was imagining.
That makes sense.
It's a cool look.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you. Frankly, they should steal from AUs more for like other champions, like not
Right?
champions, but like lower characters.
Yeah, easy pickings. And we got Mecha. When colossal kaiju begin attacking from the sea, land, and air, humanity develops equally powerful mecha units to stop them in explosive hand-to-hand combat. This obviously is the Pacific Rim AU. This is Mecha Rengar, designated RNGR7. The Mecha Rengar unit is the second stealth-based unit developed for urban combat. Bereft of its own warping technology, the RNGR can transform into a car for additional mobility.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, which seems like an unimportant fact to throw in. The only time he does that is kind of during his backing animation, where he turns into like a vehicle inspired by the Tumbler from the Dark Knight trilogy.
Rengar's in disguise, man. I'll tell you.
And then another fun fact about this one, the prototype numbers have been changed since the skin release. Mecha Aatrox, Mecha Malphite, and Mecha Rengar were prototypes 13, 06, and 09 in their release page. But in the new bios, they are ATRX1, M2, and then the RNGR7, respectively. So, I mean, they were like, oh no, we can do better than that.
Not just 69 anymore.
I've got a great fucking idea. That's true, they are 06 and 09.
Dude just cackling.
We're in our 30s.
Next up, we got cats and dogs. The oldest rivalry the world has ever known. Man's best friend pitted against the internet's greatest heroes. Only one faction will emerge victorious from the gnawing maw of battle between cats and dogs. Hopefully they don't get their fur too dirty. The only thing worse than losing is bath time. Am I right?
Did you add the am I right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And this is Pretty Kitty Rengar. Once again, the prettiest Kidley.
Oh.
Once again,
Oh, oh, oh,
the prettiest kitty
The priddliest kid.
is the deadliest.
I see where you go. I see what happened now.
I got ahead of myself. And this one has a little cinematic to go along with it called just Cats vs. Dogs, which is the best skin trailer that's ever been released.
And the song is so good.
So good. In this one, Fizz and Corky compete against Rengar and Yorick, who in this AU is just a man in a cat costume.
Yeah.
Who comes in riding a Roomba. And so for the finale of the big competition, Rengar fits into a tiny little box and the crowd goes wild.
I do like how Rengar is wearing a cat costume.
Yeah. It's not enough that he is Big Cat. He is also in a cat costume.
Hell yeah.
Double cat. Cat. The much less popular Nickelodeon spin-off of Cat Dog.
Cat, beer, cat.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of people will definitely know what the hell you're talking about, for sure.
There'll be a very small subset of people that really resonate with the Cat Dog song
You're looking at them.
Yep.
Next up, we got Guardians of the Sands, set in an alternate Shurima. All the champions are Tomb Raiders, Ancient Tomb Guardians, and evil spirits of the desert. Guardians of the Sand officially encompasses 2 skin lines, Guardian of the Sands and Pharaoh. In this one, you'll never guess which skin line it belongs to, but the skin name is Guardians of the Sand Rengar.
Bloodstone with the blood. He's got blood in his bloodstone.
An assassin of a forgotten order, long thought dead, Rengar prowls the tombs, retrieving ancient relics of power for purposes unknown. Far more alarming, he appears to be hunting guardians, his blades enchanted to pierce their ancient magic and defenses.
That's kind of cool.
Look out.
Oh, it's kind of Black Rosy almost. I kind of like it.
Honestly, it just sounds a lot like fucking the Pridestalker again. Talking about all the artifacts that he pilfered from gods and shit.
Yeah.
That's true. Good catch.
Thank you. Finally, even though this is canon, despite, our feelings, Sentinels of Light.
I've never seen this skin in my life.
That's because nobody buys them, because we all like to pretend it didn't happen.
I feel like I stumbled and I have crossed over into an alternate universe. And I am from a time when there was no. There was no. Right?
Take me with you.
Rengar was not part of the Sentinels event in the world that I am from. I don't know how I got here. Please take me back.
You're stuck.
Well, this one, though their numbers are few, the Sentinels of Light share a storied history. For years, they fought back the harrowing, aided by ancient relic stone weaponry that channels their very souls into a powerful light. But all that matters now is the battles ahead, as the ruined king lays waste to Runeterra. But... Nope. I can't read. As the ruined king lays waste to Runeterra, all to dance with his queen once more. This one's Sentinel Rengar. What game is bigger than a king? As a hunter, Rengar could not pass up the opportunity to take on what would be his ultimate prey and the ultimate trophy. Even with Sentinel weapon in hand, they will need the skills of a true apex predator to take Viego down.
So
which
they were
we
like,
learned from the cinematic. No, they apparently don't at all.
They just need a blue-haired chick with scissors.
Yeah.
They're just like, forget Rengar's whole story and drive. He's like, Kha'Zix, small game now. I want this pale king with his shirt all ripped open. That's it. That's the
Right?
true prey.
So do you think, all right, theory crafting time
sure.
here. They don't kill Viego.
No.
They seal him through a portal
Sure.
and leave him alive. How the fuck do you think Rengar, what do you think Rengar thinks about that?
He wasn't
you think
there.
He'd be cool with that?
He
You think
wasn't
he'd be, oh yeah,
there.
we'll just definitely leave him alive. Do you want to grab a trophy? No, I don't need a trophy. He's fine. He's just
I would love that he
frozen
walks
in time.
over with like dentist tools and takes one of Diego's fucking teeth.
His teeth.
Ooh, give me that incisor, boy. You know? That is a good question. It feels like if there was some sort of like, I don't know, visual novel, that's something that could have been explored in the post, the epilogue.
I think
You
if
know,
you have
someone
to have Rengar here, which again, they could have just given people these skins and not put them into the stories, but whatever. Make it so he's enjoying hunting the wraiths. He's finding that prey interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Clearly
Maybe-
Viego is not. It ain't it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's like he's trying to train up, or like it's something that's similar to something Kha'Zix does. And he's trying to learn how to deal with it, or something.
I like that. They have some kind of ability that's similar to Kha'Zix.
And to your point, too, about like
Makes
epilogues,
sense.
like we got the Graves epilogue. We
Yeah.
got basically the Olaf epilogue, which, despite Olaf being kind of garbage in Sentinels and his epilogue being basically like, I don't want to fucking talk about it. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
'Cause that was a cool story. I would love an epilogue for all these characters that,
Yeah.
may not have shown up in the cinematics, but we're clearly thrown there for marketing reasons, but the lore team has the potential to salvage in some way.
Yeah.
I love that.
Save them. It's hard with Rengar because he doesn't really have... Every one of those people has other people that they kind of like bounce off of, or like have these interactions with, to kind of give us like a signpost of where they're at with all that. But that would be a good way, like that's a good time to reintroduce him to Marcon, and then kind of be like, wow, it's been, what have you been up to? Sorry I haven't called. Shit like that, right?
I'm curious because of kind of the reference that Graves threw out too. Like I'm curious if he and Graves would have been like palling around or some shit.
Sure. I don't remember who like liked Ringo or was like got along or talked with them the most.
Oh no, I don't fucking remember anything
but
about that event. I just kind of meant in the Neela short story when Graves
did he
was
even
like
reference?
yeah, they're like, you probably want Rango. I mean, he's got a fun little nickname for him, Rango.
It's true.
He doesn't give nicknames to anybody. Just kidding, folks.
Yeah,
He gives nicknames
it's also
to
making me
everyone.
think now that Rengar and Neela have a lot in common in terms of what they're trying to do. They're both trying to hunt big fuck off monsters. So I don't know.
Funsies.
It'd be another way to advance Neela's story and also do a follow up with Rengar.
Right, where the fuck is
Something like
Jax
that.
at?
Cassante,
Seems right up
this is
Jax's
really making
alley.
me.
Oh yeah.
This makes me really think that this is like, I didn't catch it when we did Cassante, but that really was a huge missed opportunity to not tie him to Rengar. We talked about Jax, but I think Rengar even more so.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we need the fucking Shuriman Avengers here.
Ah, that'd be great.
Shervengers, yeah, for sure. But I agree, yeah, for sure. There's a lot of people in that area who have similar goals and whatever interests, things like that. It's just our club.
Yeah. But yeah, those are the AUs. I have a
Yeah.
handful of fun facts if you want them.
Let's go.
Rengar is voiced by Jason Simpson.
Nice.
The Kilosh, and this was an interesting tidbit that isn't fucking mentioned anywhere. The Kilosh are named after Kila, Vastaya Yasharai hero during the war against the race of titans from the sky that we learned about in like the Master Yi story. But yeah, that's what they're all named after.
I'd also had in my notes that I kind of got similar like Master Yi Wukong vibes with him and Marcon. So if you wanted to pluck those string, maybe that's a connection. I don't know.
Yeah. As per the Hunter Hunted story, Kilosh believed that seeing a Yordle during a hunt is a good omen and that the hunt will be successful. His Karai saber previously belonged to Marcon, his old mentor, That's his
Mentor.
like mentor. Centaur. That's his little knife that's got the little handy grip and is all sharp.
I like how they're calling him a mentor. Like, he just followed him around. Like, at no point did Marcon mentor him.
You can learn a lot about someone by following them around.
And kicking them into a gully.
Yeah. He may be a few hundred years old.
Of course he is. I made the joke, and I didn't think he was actually going to be.
The hunt is on between Rengar and Kha'Zix. Is not well. It's an Alien vs Predator reference, but also, if you aren't aware of it, is kind of an in-game event that happens when the two of them are on opposing teams, where if one kills the other, they kind of get a little bonus for the rest of the game.
A little boost.
Yeah, if you're Kha'Zix and you kill Rengar, then you and you have all your evolutions, then you get a fourth evolution that you normally wouldn't get. And as Rengar killing Kha'Zix, if you've got that fully stacked Bone Tooth necklace, you get another stack.
It's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how game warping it is, but it's neat.
It's pretty cool. Rengar's dance references the traditional Maori Haka warrior dance, specifically the Kamate. He shares it with Pike. We talked about it a little bit on the Pike episode.
Yeah.
And while thematically heavily inspired by Predator, the visual design is more inspired by Ajani Goldmane from Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, super big Ajani vibes for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I know who that is.
I mean,
Big magic nerd over here.
He's a big white lion man. They're like fucking brothers or some shit.
Big white lion man with braids and...
That sounds like Rengar.
Okay, vibes might not even be the right word. Like, very much 2012 Riot.
Yeah. All right.
It's
Those are the
fine.
fun facts.
And that was Rengar.
That's Rengar.
Any final thoughts?
No. I don't know.
Give us the epilogue. I'd read that.
Yeah. That might be enough for me. It'd be nice if he had a little more quotes. He's a little thin on the quote, the VO side.
Yeah, I
don't
agree.
think he's really gotten a V yet because he's an earlier champion and he hasn't really gotten any quote updates.
Yeah. I was looking through the quotes and I was like, all of these they feel very generic. I guess there's not really personality there.
I will say though, and there's a good chance that's not going to be changed because, in fairness, for an old champion, for a champion that came out when he came out, his visual clarity is good.
Yeah.
His design looks cool, and his gameplay is very in line with his theme. So I doubt they're gonna touch him for.
I don't think so. There's way too many other people that need it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like maybe he resonates with a lot of people, and that might be why there was so much art resources and why they had a fan art showcase for him. It's it could just be that people really vibe well with the Rengar. He does what he says in the tent. You look at him and you know exactly what he's going to be doing.
Yeah,
which
is
very
nice. Cool.
Yeah. Well, that was Rengar. Thank you so much for listening. We don't ask this a lot because I always forget, but if you could leave a review or rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts wherever you listen, that's super, super helpful for us. We have a Twitter. It's @Loreheads. We also have a Twitch, twitch.tv/Loreheads. John generally streams on the weekends. He's been doing TFT at first for a couple hours or so, and then we swap over to ARAMs with listeners. So if you want to pop in and play some ARAMs...
Yeah.
Sometimes we have enough people to
fun.
do a full in-house.
Yeah, that's fun. We get 5v5 in-houses. Those are fun.
Yeah. We also have a YouTube. We're posting the full uncut videos of these there now. We're trying to get them up about the same day.
Doing our best.
As the regular episodes. It's not always happening. And John's also posting shorts there as well. And on our TikTok. We do have a TikTok, which I never bring up. But yeah, it's shorts as well. We also have a Discord if you want to jump on in and chat with some folks about some lore or whatever you want. The link to that is in the description of this episode. We have a Patreon as well. Thank you so much to all of our patrons.
But a very special thank you
But a very
to our Medarda tier patrons. Big Man Gnomes, Chloe Things, King of Hearts, Shupa Moustache, and Techno Robert. If you were a runt Kilosh looking for a mentor and I was a master hunter, I would mentor you and not kick you into a ditch. Wow, until you needed to be. Huh? As the mentor, I would know when that was appropriate.
We always look for that developmental milestone. They're able to sustain being kicked into a ditch with a knife.
I think Poppy's almost there.
Yeah, so close.
You gotta let them leave the nest sometime.
That's great because she woke me up at 6:45 this morning because she was on her belly in her crib. It couldn't roll to her back. So she started crying for help.
She's almost ready.
She can roll belly to back, but in her little sleep sack, it's a little harder. Anyway, please be sure to join it. Be sure to join us next week. We are not going to be talking about a champion. We are going to be bitching about Rise of the Sentinels some more, probably. Because we're going to talk about Ruination, a League of Legends novel by Anthony Reynolds. Finally, it came out
forever ago.
September 6th, 2022. And we're talking about it now.
But you know what? Life,
some shit happened around there.
We had baby. It's true. You had a baby like right around that mark. Yeah, that'll be fun.